Okay, welcome back. This is part 4. This lecture is just for the Drawing 1 class. So on these videos, I did one video for the beginning for Drawing 1 and one for the beginning of Design 1. But then the two middle parts, where the parts of the syllabus are very similar, I did one video for both classes. But here at the end, things get a little bit more specifically different, especially as we're talking about the different materials that are required. Before I get into too much more, when we were last talking, we were talking about things like the Canvas statement and the change of syllabus, and I want to reiterate once again, it's really important that you read all of these statements carefully. Um, but one thing I wanted to emphasize about the COVID wellness issue, which is the hybridness of this class. Because this is a hybrid class, we are actually going to put as much content online as possible and therefore reduce class meetings, which means that we're splitting the class up into two cohorts. Basically, from the first half of the alphabet and the second half of the alphabet. So it's a class of 12 students, or at least currently a class of 12 students. And so we'll be broken up into groups of 6. One group will be coming on Mondays, group will be coming on Wednesdays. Then on the Fridays, that will alternate. One group will be off for Fridays on one week, and one group will be on for Fridays one week, and then it'll flip. And so just keep that in mind, that's one of the things we are doing, and that's going to change a little bit of the nature of this as a studio class, but we still want to meet with you, as much as we can to ensure, because studio classes that are purely online are really difficult to ensure that students learn, because there's no way to um, replace the actual interaction where someone like a teacher can point to a place in your drawing and say, right here, this is wrong, or this is a problem, or have you considered this, and make a suggestion, and then see how you adjust from there. Actually being able to see you draw, not just to see the drawings you've made, but to see you in the process of drawing is really critical for me to figure out how to help you. Okay, so some of the things that in this last part also that I want to cover. So we also are looking at the division, the organization of the class, and I want you to start to think about that. It will make more sense, I think, once you've gotten about halfway through the class, but you can kind of see that it starts from sort of simple exercises that we do to kind of learn how to see, and then it gets to kind of like a very analytical way of thinking about space, and then applying perspective systems to that analytical way of thinking about space, and then we add value to it. So that's basically the main divisions. This part here, the syllabus, is probably the most important part. If you don't keep any other part of the syllabus, you should print out the syllabus and cut out this part right here and keep it in your wallet or your pocket or your purse at all times, because this is probably the most important information. This is when the midterm portfolio is going to be due, when the first independent project critique is, when the final portfolio is due, and when the final independent project. Those dates are really critical, and so it's important that you keep them in mind. Okay, so lastly, let's talk about the materials. So we'll do this in class a little bit, and it'll be a little bit easier for me to do in class because I'll be able to hold things up by hand and show them to you. But you can certainly look for these. Now, one of the things I want to say is that you'll be able to find some of these locally, but some of them you might not. I was just at Hobby Lobby and at Michael's, and they do not have any black Conte crayons. The only things they have are general brand black Conte crayons, and I would not recommend buying General's black Conte. It's not worth it. So for Conte crayons, you want to buy Conte brand Conte crayons. Um, and but a lot of these you will be able to get. Now, unfortunately for the charcoal pencil, you might not be able to get that without having to buy some sort of kit. Um, but you can buy some of these online, and I will try my best to give you extra time. Um, and to lend people materials if need be, if you need more time to order supplies. So now some of these things are often supplied by the bookstore. Um, the newsprint pad and the vine charcoal usually they might be carrying the Conte. Um, and then also there is an art supply store in Starkville. The Chalet in Starkville carries, and I think actually they carry all of these. So if you wanted to drive to Starkville, if you wanted to drive somewhere else, you might be able to find others of these items. But it is also okay for you to order these online for the ones that you can't find. And I will give you time. For the very beginning of class, if you can't get anything else, if you can get your sketch pad and your newsprint, and if you can get your vine charcoal and a kneaded eraser, and all of those things are available at all of the retail locations locally. If you can get those things, then you'll be okay. All right. And but the other thing I do is I try to organize the syllabus with materials by later dates, the things you don't need immediately. I let you know so that you have more time to order them, especially for those people who might be waiting on a refund check. Then knowing that you can buy some things by the fourth week of class or by midterm uh, saves you some money. Uh, and we may, let me just say, on the 8 sheets of 22 by 30 paper, let's hold off on that because we may be cutting that down to a smaller number because partially due to COVID, the assignments are getting smaller, and so therefore you might need fewer of those. Okay. Um, all right. I think that pretty much covers it. And on class on Monday, hopefully the weather will be nice and I'll be able to share some supplies, but also show you what some of the supplies look like. And okay. All right. I will speak to you then.